everyone, good afternoon. How are you doing? It's Sunday today, 5 o'clock, and we're talking with Kian.
No, not talking with Kian. No, we're not talking.
And we're talking with Karen Ranzi from Super Healthy Raw in our live video. Hello, Karen. So nice to see you. Can you hear me? Hi, Karen. Can you hear me?
I can. Just a second. I'm trying to figure something out that's covering my face here.
Yes, exactly. I see you half, but...
What was?
Maybe going a little bit backwards. That sometimes helps. Hi, Peach Island. Hi, Lux.
I'm going to go back.
And oh, we got also Wisdom, Strength, Beauty. Oh, so nice. Hi, guys. So we're super happy to have Karen here on the live video with me. We haven't really met yet, so you guys can watch us meet because we are talking about raising children on this raw vegan lifestyle and anything natural that comes along with that. So my boy is probably a whole lot younger than Karen's kids. Mine is just 8. He's here, so if he's playing games, and if you feel like you want to ask something to him, that's awesome as well. And and everybody who just joined in, so we're doing this live as part of a whole group of live videos to share information during this week for the raw vegan bundle. And we both have a book in there, and so yeah, that's how we met. And if you're ready, Karen, maybe you can share some little bit more about you, like where are you, where are you from, how old are you, how many kids, and yeah, then we can share some interesting about that. Oh, it's my connection or yours? Hey, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Morel. It's me, amor. Hi. Oh, it looks like the connection's really bad. So in this bundle, Karen is sharing a book named Ready, Set, Raw. So it's raw food fast, and I love that, but not bad fast food, like so not fast food, but it's fast. So I love that. Hi, Alexandra. Hi, Yenny. Nice to have you here. So I've been reading. I just met Karen. Maybe you guys know her a little bit longer. So Karen made the book together with Lauren, and so she got interested in the lifestyle through a number of other people. For example, Arnold Ehret, who I also know, and her book is all about raising kids, about how to prepare for being raw, what's all about kitchen tools, what do you do with that, how you manage social life with people like that. So I'm going to let her in again. Let's see if she's coming back.
There, it's connected. Wendy, can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Good. Yeah, the first time it just wouldn't connect. I had to go back twice.
Yeah, I see it. Yes, I saw it.
But here we are.
Oh, so nice to meet you. I am feeling very grateful to meet you.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to meet you as well.
Well, yeah, you're like when I saw some things, I heard your name before, and then I saw your book, went to your profile, and read all about you, and I thought, wow, that's just so much experience, and yeah, it must be really awesome for me, just a blessing for me to hear from you, and yeah, I
Yeah,
am going through the motherhood of raising an 8-year-old boy at the moment. And yeah, we don't have a man around anymore, so yeah, we have the special challenges of being an 8-year-old next to keeping the diet clean. He's not going to a regular school at this moment, not going to a school at all. So I would love to hear about your life and your little bit about your background, and yeah, your opinion on that. I saw some things earlier, and yeah, happy to hear them in
yeah.
person if you want to share.
Well, I'm always excited when someone is raising their child vegan and raw. It's much easier today to do it with all the resources that we have available. I mean, I wish that back in the 90s when I was raising my kids that we had an ultimate raw vegan bundle, but thing like that. So I had to invent a lot on my own. But it was beginning. It was the very beginnings of lots of raw vegan ideas and community. So yeah, so I went vegetarian back in geez, it was like 50 years ago. I went vegetarian, and that was for ethical reasons because I did not want to harm animals. And my father and my grandmother were vegan in a time when vegan and raw was the words didn't even exist. And so I was fortunate that I had that handed down to me. And so I was raised on a conventional American standard diet. My mother believed we needed animal protein, and my parents came close to getting a divorce because of it, but they didn't. And then when I was 17, just watching my father and my grandmother and the way they had this very sacred connection with other creatures, I felt that it was so beautiful. And I became a vegetarian at age 17, but I was not into health and I didn't realize the cruelty of the dairy industry.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah.
Even though
And
my mother would tell me I loved cheese so much. And so it wasn't until later that I realized the extreme benefit of not only for my health, because I had cystic acne for 25 years and went to dermatologists and took dangerous drugs and covered up with heavy creams. And when I went vegan in 1989 and gave up the dairy, my skin healed in 3 months. I was so angry.
I
All
understand
the
that.
and thousands of dollars on drugs and treatments and dermatologists telling me it was genetic. And then everything went against what they said that in 3 months of going vegan and giving up cheese, that my skin healed. And then in 1994, because even as a vegan, my son had asthma and chronic ear infections the first 3 years of his life,
Oh
went
yeah.
to 94 and completely healed from his asthma, ear infection. So there was just no going back, and it led to my passion and many books. My three main books. My first one, Creating Healthy Children, that was a 7-year project. It came out in 2010. And that I have no marketing skills, and I self-published because I wanted to keep everything in that book intact. I didn't want a publisher changing my voice. And so I self-published in 2010, and that book went all over. So I had people contacting me from India, from Greece, from Australia, from all over the world.
And it just came to me now, like now, since I met you, yeah, through the bundle, like amazing.
Yeah,
And believe me, I
my
searched. I
projects.
searched. I mean, he's 8.
Yeah. So I'm so glad to meet you and to see what you're doing, and to be raising a healthy child is very unusual today. Our children are sicker than ever, and to be raising a healthy child and to actually understand these principles is being a really a real parent, a real mother.
We hope we do the best we can, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
I thank you for the way you look at it.
That is for sure. Doing the best that you can. And the more you learn, and that's why people who come to this, you know, I understand there's a lot of things thrown out at us in all directions. And we often don't know where to look. It's very confusing because there's so many experts speaking on so many different topics that, you know, it can be very confusing for parents raising children, where to
Yep.
go to. And for me, it was a process. And you know, and then getting kids involved is very important. And I know you said that your son is not in school right now,
Yeah.
so
He never,
that will be key because he'll take on your values instead of the values of others.
well,
You know,
he's never been to regular school. He's been, when he was 3.5, I moved him from one day of play kindergarten thing to democratic school because he was up for more challenging environment, and I couldn't give that as a mother at home with him, just one child. I was seeing that he was needing a more challenging environment, more toys, more kids. So we took him in a democratic school, which is basically in the Netherlands. School means a building where children are a certain amount of time. That's a school description. So the democratic school is a place where children do whatever they want within certain rules and limits, and they are part of the limits. They are part of the rules. They can make, you know, they can change and make them. And we did that since until he was 5. And then he said he was done. He wanted to go, and I wanted to go, and you know, his father wanted to go. So we rented out our house, sold everything, and we left, and we traveled ever since. So that's about 4 years ago.
oh, and I remember you said you're living in Spain right now.
I guess it's
But
not. I'm not a resident or having any long-term permanent location at the time.
yeah.
But
Well,
yes,
also because the child gets to see the world. We did a lot of traveling.
yeah.
My
So
my husband is multilingual and from Switzerland and Colombia, so we traveled a lot to those two countries and other countries as well. And
yeah.
we that that traveling was very important for learning.
Oh wow, yeah, I learned that. I also think sometimes being a little bit more stationary can help as well for the peace. But yeah, so some months here, some months there, that could be also really good. I see some awesome people joining us, like Maya's coming, and our crochet hero, and Estella is again back. Hi guys, so nice for you to come.
Yeah.
If you have any questions for me or Karen, feel free to ask them. We're still talking about kids. And of course, I want to know a little bit about all the books and everything, but
Yeah. Well, it's easy. If anybody wants to see the books, my website is superhealthychildren.com. And I have another website that's for people who are interested in becoming a vegan and raw food health coach, because I have a course since 2015 where I certify coaches, and that's at feelfabulouswithfood.com. Yeah.
cool. Awesome. I'll be checking those out too. Well, the one that I haven't seen yet then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and so you're from United States?
yes, I live
Okay.
on the coast of the United States, New Jersey, not too far from New York. And I've had a thriving raw vegan community that I started soon after we moved to New Jersey. Back in 1991, I started having potlucks and parties and just bringing community together. And
Wow.
yeah, and every year, like the weekend after Thanksgiving, I have a huge party called the Thanks Living Celebration.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Somehow,
Somebody, when we were traveling through New York, like somebody told me about it. I
wow.
don't remember who it was.
Yeah. People,
Actually, also a mom. That I remember, but I don't know who it was anymore.
yeah, it's really just a nice way of people to come together and share and have community and have delicious raw vegan food while also having a gratitude circle where
Mhm.
we about celebrating the life of the turkey at a
Oh.
time when millions of turkeys are being slaughtered.
Oh, right. Yeah,
So
that's a big deal, all right. Over there, people eat the whole, I saw that. They eat the whole turkey with everybody. It's going like, wow. Even that my parents didn't do, you know. We just got like a little something like tiny because it's, you know, it's precious. It's like
yeah.
expensive and, you know, special. You don't do that like that. So,
Wendy, where
hey,
are you originally?
I'm sorry.
Where are you from originally?
Okay, so we are from the Netherlands.
You're from the Netherlands.
Yes, and people make fun in United States saying that it's a province of Germany. And I recently learned that we are really a country. But I recently learned that since World War II, something happened jurisdictionally, and there is a paper saying that we are a province of Germany because the Germans invaded, made us a province, and it never got cancelled.
Wow.
Now you learned that, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's cold and raining over there, and well, here it's not too hot, but the sun's out a lot, and there's the sea, there are the mountains. Both of them, one is 10-minute walk, the other one is a 30-minute walk. So yeah, it's really nice to be here, and we're planning to stay longer and really be resident here now.
Oh,
To get
beautiful.
yeah, we're looking at some nice lands for growing tangerines and oranges and avocados and mangoes. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to buy a farm and figure out how to grow food because it's important.
Very important, especially right now. My son is in Costa Rica. He left for Costa Rica when this whole COVID situation started happening in March 2020. And he has a vegan and raw food retreat there now.
Oh, right. Cool. So
Yeah.
maybe I know them.
Yes. They're part of the bundle. They did a recipe book as well, Marco and Maria.
Oh, yeah. I saw that, but I didn't make the link. But
Yeah.
okay, they're not from Canada because I went to people that were from Canada making a raw vegan how do you say that, homeschooling community in Costa Rica. We were supposed to visit them actually January 2020. Yeah, just before this whole COVID stuff. And then somehow we ended up in New York and everything was expensive and complicated and rules and visas. And we ended up in Amsterdam, decided to drive to Spain, and then we were here in lockdown for 3 months. So
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I'm sure it was pretty cool to be in lockdown there as well. But
Yeah. I mean, he's in Costa Rica. His goal is to become self-sustainable. He's
right.
on 100, I don't know how many fruit trees, but many, many fruit trees, and he just built a greenhouse and has a big garden, and he's doing retreats there. For anybody who is interested, it's El Sanctuario de la Salud in Costa Rica, Marco and Maria.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah. I see somebody's asking a question here.
Yes.
that they remember wisdom, strength, beauty remembers meeting me years ago and wants to know if my children are still raw vegan. Well, definitely my son. My daughter is vegan, and she eats a lot of raw food. I mean, everybody does what they can do at whatever time in their life. My daughter, I have to say, she has never, ever eaten meat in her entire life.
And
Whereas my
how old
son,
are they?
during the college years, my son was influenced by his peers to eat meat. And he was raised vegan and raw, and he healed from asthma and ear infections as a young child. And then later on, perceived the need to fit in. And so he did go off in college, but he came home from college and came right back to vegan and raw. So it just shows the power of an early base of knowledge.
And maybe habits as well. Like when you're used to something, I notice now after 6 years, people offer me and I think, yeah, my health can handle, I don't know, some cooked or something, or like, oh, okay, let's be polite. And it's just, I cannot swallow it. It just doesn't work anymore. It just goes like,
No,
no, thank you.
honestly, I'm not really even attracted to other things. Like I used to, before I went raw vegan, I used to eat a lot of bread and pasta. And I loved bread and pasta so much.
Mm-hmm.
But now I see people eat it. I'm not attracted to it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. And
Yeah,
my
it
kid
looks
is
like
actually, he's super interested in everything else that people have. And I, since traveling, I find about 6 months ago, I was emptying his toy bag and they came out from this wrappers, these little candy wrappers. And I was going, uh-oh. And I remember that somebody kept offering, hey, do you want this candy? And Keon very politely said, no, thank you. Sugar in? Because we had some lolly sticks. They were 100% grape juice, but then like some sort of, dehydrated stuff. And I was like, okay, just grape juice, dehydrated. All right, we can do that. But he was like, he doesn't know the difference, so he asked people, is it gluten free, it's got no sugar in it, and things like that. And then he politely say no a lot. And then I found them and I was really going like, wow, some people just take, and then they, when you walk away, they put it in the bag and say, don't tell your mom. And then I'm going like, he's like, he was 7, he was like, I'm saying no, but people put it in you. Like, are you doing this child a favor, or the mother, or yourself? Like,
people are very, very disrespectful. And I had people, like I homeschooled my kids throughout all the way up to college. And even in the homeschool community, even though they were thinking alternatively, they weren't thinking differently about food. They ate a lot of junk food and a lot of animal food. And there were times when they would be asking my kids, or saying to my kids, oh, I'm so sorry for you. You can't eat this.
oh yeah.
And my kids are like, it's not that we can't eat that. We don't want to eat that. That's going to make us, my kids would tell them that. Hi there. Oh, he's beautiful.
You know what? You want to look what I was doing?
What were you doing?
I was playing video games.
What were you playing?
Wait, I quit the game a ago.
Yeah, well, we only have Karen for 1 hour. We cannot keep her the whole day, even if I want to.
Where's quit game?
So that's mine.
Beautiful.
But, yeah,
Beautiful.
sometimes people can be, I don't know why, they cross somebody else's boundary that they try to respectfully, put there and decline something, and it happens anyway. So,
I mean, we've had a vegan home, and I refuse to have other people bring animal food into my home.
Mm-hmm.
So, like even somebody who's going to come and stay, like if a relative was coming and staying with us for the summer, they had to know that it's a vegan house
Mm-hmm.
and don't bring in animal food. They could do whatever they want outside of the house, but
Mm-hmm.
in the house, this is a vegan home.
So,
We respect the rights of animals.
so your kids were born, your was 91, right? 91?
Let's see. So I had my daughter in 1987 and I had my son in 1990. I became vegan in between my two pregnancies. So I was vegetarian when my daughter was born, and then I went vegan in between. I wasn't like 100% vegan. I was mostly vegan
Mm-hmm.
in between. And then in 1989, that's when I became totally vegan. I just, not only ethically, but for health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1994, when my son was sick with the asthma and the ear infections, I had my cystic acne for so many years. It was much better after I went vegan and gave up the dairy. Most of it was gone.
Yeah, I understand this exactly. I was
It's a
so
dairy
the
sickness.
dairy, yes, the dairy. I mean, like before I went raw, well, yes, before raw and before vegan, I was paleo, but not the paleo like you guys in the United States think, but just for me it meant going back to primal food and making everything yourself from scratch, and no grains and no dairy. And Keon is taking a dance. And in this, I think it was just a little over 6 months, my partner, the father of Keon, he had eczema on his eyes mostly and other places as well. He had this from the age of 3. We quit the dairy and the wheat, so the wheat and the dairy, and I think 6 months, I say, it's gone. It's gone. And as long as I know him, like it was 31 when Keon came, so I already knew him 11 years. And then we changed this, just no more gluten, no more grains, no more milk. And also my ear infections, like it finally ended.
Yeah.
Finally, like
What
that
happened
would be
to
my
my
weak
son?
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my son, though, it was more than just the dairy.
Mm.
The ear infections, chronic ear infections, and not only the ear infections, but the wheezing. It was scary, the wheezing all day. And we used to take him in the shower at night to get respiration. So it took getting off of the grains, and it took, not eating the processed food anymore. And that's when we came to completely raw food. And we were juicing, mostly green juicing and fruits and vegetables. My son healed. It was just beautiful, really, the way that he healed in like 10 to 11 months of going raw vegan. And even the scarring that I had from my cystic acne went away. The scarring completely.
Wow, mine is my scars are still healing, but I am only 6 years, and since this last year with all this stuff going on in our life and divorcing and all these things, I'm not so how do you say that? I was very strict, with I'm gonna do this. Fruit here, salad there, like managing nutrients and adding herbs, and I need that, and I was managing everything. And now I eat when I'm hungry. I eat
Yeah.
what there is, and sometimes I don't eat enough, and sometimes I eat all the same stuff, even though I
Yeah.
need something else.
Hmm. Like we said, you do the best that you can, and it's really important to stay positive and to
Yes.
have as little stress as you can, and also not to be so obsessive. Like at times like that, when I'm stressed, when I have like emotional things going on, I lighten it up. Like that's one of the benefits of being raw vegan, is that it can be so easy,
Yeah.
and okay if you're not covering all your nutrients for a little bit of time,
Yeah, I was just, for me it was super easy in the beginning. because I really love science and I study physics and chemistry, and you know, I got I went to the university 4 times to get a diploma, all bachelors though. But yeah, I just dove into this, and the first year I binge watched Dr. Robert Morse, and I read everything I could find. And being a natural health therapist, I applied everything that I knew, and I asked all my colleagues, like, you know, and I could to get myself, yeah, from a position where they told me you'll be in a wheelchair, and if you continue like that, you know, you cannot do nothing. And I was like, no way, I will do whatever it takes, whatever. And I just said to them, you know, this is no life. Me crying, being in bed, being tired, and having pain all the time is no life. So I'll do whatever it takes. And it took only 2.5 years before I found out exactly how to do it. And, you know, like from January, and in May, I was fine. I was biking with my child on the back of the bike through the Netherlands in the pouring rain, dragging my healthy food around for a
Nice.
holiday.
And
You know?
that really is what it takes. It takes motivation. And when somebody really gets there and they want to do that, that's why I find that, like, you know, I've been working with people since 1998. And no matter what it is, you know, I work with families with kids with autism, and I've seen them turn around.
Oh yeah, me
I've
too.
worked with lots of women with thyroid issues and hormonal imbalances, and it can all turn around if the person's motivated. And so going back to the natural foods is really the only way to do it. When you're taking medications and you're kind of pushing things to the side temporarily, it doesn't lead to true healing. But when you go the natural way, that's why my cystic acne healed. I had digestive issues, irritable bowel syndrome, and that went away. I had premenstrual issues.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't get my period for a year.
Oh yeah, me too.
And that all came together. It was like I was getting my period every 28 days consistently, and it was enjoyable. It was like 2 days or 3 days very light, instead of these very heavy flows and lots of cramps. I could do anything. I felt great. I actually missed them when I went through menopause. I
Oh
missed
right. How did
them.
that go?
So beautiful.
No issue.
No issues.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. That's so good to hear. You know, I never heard about anybody saying that. So,
Yeah. And, you know, it's true. Most of the people I know who have been doing raw for many years and they go through menopause, I never had a hot flash. I don't know what it is. When my friends tell me, I'm like, oh, like I never had one. And they're just, you know, some of them are surprised. In fact, when I called up Medicare, the woman I spoke with, she said, oh, you know, we're shocked at your age that you're not on any drugs. How come you're
oh,
not on drugs? And I was like, because why should I take drugs? I don't need drugs.
yeah, 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 yeah. I really, I can relate that. Well, I mean, like they tried to give me a lot of drugs, like for my, yeah, I don't know really if it was asthma, but I was always not, it wasn't working well, apparently. And they tried to give me drugs for rheumatism and for the chronic inflammations in my legs and my feet, like all the joints would constantly be inflamed. They say, yeah, we only think that we can see that's not working. I said, yeah, I already know that. And I was having some, not blood thinner, but the thing that makes the muscles on your arteries and your veins go like weaker, so that your arteries get bigger and it lowers your blood pressure. I had very low blood pressure already, but it was to make blood go to my legs and my feet. And they even made me stop do gymnastics because of them. That was the cause. Well, trust me, at the moment I learned that, you should never do it. It's the worst advice ever. They told me that for 7 years, and then in the end I said, okay, I quit because maybe it's really the cause. And then, oh, you get all stiff, that's worse. So I always had to refuse all these drugs, because if I take it, except the one that was for the arteries, that was the only one, didn't have any weird side effects. it would be, I would just vomit, or I'd be nauseous, and I'd be fuzzy in my head, and I would have pains, and like it would be like you get all nervous if so. People say, did you ever take any? Except that one I didn't take, but I did a test once with my hair and with my blood and with bioresonance, and the test showed, oh, you have this and this and this chemicals all in you, and I'm like, I don't have that in me. I never ate that, but I have it in me because it's stored in me, because I am not getting rid of it in a normal way, apparently. So, well, in the end, I figured out why it was.
Over time, this raw food will help you to detoxify a lot of it.
Yeah, it is, because I got myself a machine. I was like, that's the first thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it does, but some things go fast, some things went really fast, and some things go really slow. And apparently something in my genes are not making the right enzymes that are not. So yeah, I figured it all out myself, because I wanted to know what was wrong with me to fix it. And then in the end, I wasn't supposed to supplement grapes and grape concentration, but I was just supposed to eat the grapes only, and that solved the problem.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
real food is really your medicine.
yeah,
And
you just.
I was on prednisone for 6 years.
Oh wow, you blow up.
The doctors, I went to a hospital, and the doctors put me on prednisone because of my premenstrual issues and my cystic acne. They thought that it would help to normalize it. How can prednisone normalize anything?
I don't know. They told me that
it
too.
made me much worse, and I had side effects from it. And I got really sick. Eventually, I had to get off of it. And, I was a vegetarian, eating a lot of dairy at the time. And it wasn't until I got off of dairy that I got healthier. And like I said, when I went raw vegan, that's when everything started normalizing. I started getting my monthly cycle normalized, my skin healed, my digestive issues vanished, everything, and yeah. And it wasn't like I thought that everything was 100% fine. But then when my son was sick, even as a vegan, I realized I needed to go further. It wasn't going vegan that was enough. So I needed to get rid of all processed food, all grains, just go to really healthy, natural fruits and vegetables. And that's what really worked the best. And my son made this amazing healing with his asthma and chronic ear infections.
Yeah.
And I was also very fortunate that my grandmother in 1921 had a healing story. And that's going way back. So I think in terms of the raw vegan teachers of today, that I'm the one who has the longest history, because of my grandmother, that she read a little book that came out in 1918 called The Mucusless Diet Healing System.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I was
Yeah.
telling people about it when you were trying to reconnect. I was telling people about it because you mentioned it in your book. I love this book.
It's a great little paperback book. And my grandmother read that in 1921. And it was published first in 1918. And she read that book. She was in the hospital with asthma and emphysema. And they didn't have processed food back then. They didn't have genetically modified food back then. But she was eating a lot of animal food. And most of her vegetables and fruits were cooked. And when she went to plant foods and living foods, they didn't have the words raw and vegan back then.
For me, they didn't. Raw and vegan, we have now raw vegan bundle, but it took me more than a year to find somebody else. Because if you search on YouTube, can I live on fruits and vegetables only? You do not find anything like raw vegan people or fruitarian or something like that.
Today.
So you don't know what you're supposed to look for. You're just trying to answer this question. I do not want to eat anything else anymore, and preferably also not cook it. Can I stay alive? Because I don't like this other stuff anymore. It makes me feel bad. And this is what I Google for, because that's my son over there. He wasn't digesting anything. He was doing good on breastfeeding. Yeah, he clicked on the eye on the iridology video, huh? By accident, because mommy didn't let him click on the eye.
And then we went Fruit Fest.
You go to the Fruit Fest? Oh, nice.
Yeah, in the first years he said to me, when we were just starting traveling, he was 5. So he said, Mom, the best camping and the place to live I like is the fruit festivals.
Because that's where he gets the most connection to others.
Yes, and kids and people that eat the same and think the same, and kids that do the same is really useful. For
it's so fantastic. I wish there was something like that for my kids in 1994.
Well, I made one in the Netherlands, so because he was like that, I was thinking, yes, we should just try to make as much as we can.
So much energy.
And so yeah, in 2019 I made a Dutch fruit festival, and people came, and I was really happy to give all these people that come the same opportunity that I had and that I wanted to have. And for me, we could make the world better like that. You know, for me, I agree with him. If we could live on the fruit festival, it would be awesome.
That's right. That's why it's so important to have community.
So yeah, COVID or no COVID, I was like, I'm taking this risk. Hopefully we will not be shut down or something, and people will be able to travel, and people traveled. We were not shut down. It worked.
Yeah. Are
no
you
mask,
able to
no rules.
make it all in Spain?
Oh no, I made a Dutch fruit fest. Kia? We made a Dutch.
I know you made a Dutch fruit festival.
Yeah, in the
Are you going to go back to the Netherlands to do it again?
So yeah, actually my idea was to have 2, like one in the beginning of the season in the Netherlands, and then in later of the year, like October now, in Spain. Yeah, I didn't do that this year, so maybe later this year or next year, because of getting the divorce, selling the house, things with the court and dividing and moving, and it was just too much for me to also have a whole fruit festival on my shoulders. So I was thinking, you know, time for us, time for relaxation is also really important. If I am working nonstop and the divorce is going on, I cannot be the mom I want to be. So let's just be the mom and be good with me, and we'll provide this fruit festival people, you know, we will do it.
It will always be there. You'll do it when you're ready.
I'm a person of my word. So when I say to somebody, I do it, I do it. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, but I will do it. That's like me.
Yeah.
And I say to people, you know, I will organize a festival. I mean, I do it. Even, you know, even this year we do it. So
that's great. Wonderful. Yeah. What are your son's favorite foods that you can easily get in Spain?
For him? Right now it's mangoes. We got mangoes in Spain. It's amazing. They look like the fly-in ones that they fly in, but they come from the tree.
Wow, that's beautiful.
What favorite?
Your favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit.
Actually,
Mango
banana. Mango banana.
He likes mango and banana.
Actually, when you ask him and he wants to go like snacking, he wants crisps, fries, and nuts and olives. But when you have that in front or the right mango, he'll go for the mango, and that's the beautiful, I think. Like,
yeah, I'm sure they're really wonderful. Yeah, we're finished with our mango season, but now persimmons are coming in.
Yeah, here too. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I had a persimmon today. It just like melts in your mouth. It's just so good. It's like eating the best Jello that ever was created. It's just so good.
We're a little bit early here. They're still like they just got off this sourness, you know, that just got it off like just this week. And so they're all really hard and a little light. So to get a really dark one, that's not, you have to really look at the tree. Pick
Yeah.
one. I had a really dark, soft one that took from the tree, and it was still like that last week because the time
Really?
isn't ready yet. So I was like, wow, that's an interesting experience. But now you're not in New Jersey anymore, right? Because there is no kakis.
Yeah, I am in New
Oh, there is.
Jersey. Yeah, but there's persimmons here. We get quite a bit of good fruit. We're also looking at Florida, like maybe at some point we'll go to Florida. My son, as I said, he has a vegan and raw food retreat in Costa Rica.
Yes.
And he and his fiance Maria are in the bundle. They have like a 7-day raw food detox. And I have an ebook that I did with one of my students in my raw vegan certification course. We did a book called Ready, Set, Raw.
Yeah, that's one I saw.
And Wendy, what did you do? What did you do for the bundle?
I got Nice Cream 2.0.
Oh, yes.
So I upgraded my Nice Cream as it yeah, it's really fast food for moms. Like,
let me tell you, mom needs that.
Like for me, when we go a place, like it's not all frozen, like it doesn't have to be completely frozen, but it's really a bowl or a beautiful dish with, and usually if the half of the bananas are frozen and the other half of your ingredients are fresh, for me, it's the fastest, easiest way to make a very big quantity of yummy, beautiful looking food. And that's really what helps sometimes. He loves banana, but to give him 4 in a row, you know, if he's hungry, he'll do it, but not for breakfast if you have to have a go an appointment after. So I wanted to give people that thing that's helping us the most, and that is easy, simple recipes, not too many ingredients, and digestible for everybody. And that's what I wanted to give. So that's what is in my book. It's called Nice Cream by Wendy because my business is called Healthy by Wendy. So it was funny to have the same thing in my name.
Nice.
So yes, I have personally, after I started my detox, my really raw food detox in December 2015, it was so long time ago. Then after I tried some kale sprouts, like the baby kale, like just sprouted, and the next day eat it in the evening, I had so much pain. It was like I had rheumatism. All my joints was hurting, and I was trying to move. My hand was going, ah. So I was like, okay. And later, anything that's cabbage-like, not for me. Like it just doesn't work, you know, it makes pain.
Interesting. Wow.
Now, last year I tried some. I was like, okay, in the morning I feel a little bit heavy, but now it's okay. I didn't feel anything special. So, but that's like 6 years in, huh? So in the beginning, I was really happy with my boring monomeals and gigantic salads because it was just for me fast and easy. And monomeal book you can do, of course, but I love the creams and the cones and the cakes. So I put 2 cakes in just for people to have something easy at the back of the hand. And you can make these cakes in like little cubes, like ice cube size, and then you can put them in the drawer of your freezer. And then whenever you have your guests over, you can just open the freezer, pull it out, and put them on a little dish and serve them like that. And it's like a little cookie. And
that's cute.
Yeah, I thought that would be super awesome. So I put that in the book.
Yeah, nice.
So
Um,
yeah, that's
yeah, I
yeah.
did a lot of those kinds of things when my kids were growing up because we were, you know, they were going to a lot of birthday parties. And sometimes it would be every weekend because they had so many friends. And I would make things and I would pack them up and bring them with me. And sometimes I even got a little tricky. Like I would take an ice cream container from a vegan ice cream and I would pour the vegan ice cream out and I would make ice cream with bananas and mango and dates and carob powder and put it in there and bring it to the party. And the kids didn't even know.
Oh wow, yes, yeah, I
And
understand. I think Kian
yeah,
would do the same. Oh, hi, Rachel and Lynn.
yeah.
You say hi. Hi, guys.
Yeah. And they would come to my kids' parties and they would really love everything that I had. And I tried not to always have a focus on food.
Yes.
So, like, I would fill the piñatas with toys. I would put like masks and colored pencils and erasers and all kinds of fun things, coins. And even one of my son's friends came over to me once and he said, Mrs. Ranzi, you're always putting such cool stuff in your piñatas. Why don't you use candy? Why don't you put candy in? And I said, because candy's not food and because your things are so much better for you. And he said, well, I like it. So the piñatas were really fun for my kids. So that's something really different and fun to use at parties that kind of takes the emphasis off of the food and puts it just on doing a fun activity where the kids are banging the piñata to get the treats, and the treats are practical things that they can use. So we did a
Yeah.
lot of kinds of things for parties.
We never had that piñata. Like Dutch people don't have that, but I saw that one. So
Yeah,
that
yeah. It's even something like, you know, that you can, like we did other things as well, not only things like that, like we would do sports as
yeah, yeah,
like
with Kian too. And actually on his birthday party, so we make these balls like snowballs and also the pepernoten. Oh, that's actually my recipe that's in the book of the holiday book. And so
what
the
is it?
kid, pepernoten. You know speculoos? No? Okay, it's a spice blend and it's like typical Dutch. And it's really something that we do with Sinterklaas, which is the what came before Santa Claus, which is actually a bishop that was born on or had his birthday on December 6th. And it comes with that. And it's very traditional. And it's just like little tiny, like this size cookies with the speculaas herbs in it and a lot of sugar, of course. So I've been experimenting with different raw vegan versions of this. And I love it so much that everywhere I go, I take the herbs with me because it's just so delicious.
Oh,
And
nice.
the kids would come to his birthday and I put like carrot sticks, cucumber sticks, cherry tomatoes, and these balls. And you know, when they come in, regular kids, right? Some vegan, some vegetarian, but nobody raw. And then I say, one says, I am super hungry. And another says, oh, me too. I says, okay, you can already take something if you want. You know what they do? They go for the cucumber, the tomato, and the carrots, and not the little bowl of cookies. So they know they're dense and sweet, even if they're raw. They will. The bodies of the little kids are going, oh wow, carrots. So there, at one point, I came back, like 5 of them eating carrots, and I'm going there like, I'm really proud, you know, like wow, I made all of them eat
Yeah.
carrots at the birthday party. So then, does anybody want cake? No, we're hungry. I'm going, wow, beautiful kids. Wow, these kids are amazing.
Yeah.
Let them be. And then when we came with the cookie cake kind of raw vegan things, of course, they all dived into that and ate all of it, but still from the beginning. So I think we're all drawn to these more natural foods from, you know, from when we're young. And yeah.
Kids love them. If you give kids the opportunity, they will show you that they love the natural foods. When I used to bring pineapple, I would dig out the inside of a pineapple and I would use a scooper, like a melon scooper, and I would put melon balls inside it, and I put like melon ball shapes of bananas and mango and all kinds of fruit. If I brought it to a party and everybody and the party was a pizza party, you know, with cheese pizza and ice cream cake and all that stuff, and I bring my big pineapple boat, the kids are going to run over to my pineapple boat.
Yeah, I know. That's so beautiful. We did the same with our paprika train. Like, I was working in a school and kids will always come steal my lunch. And at one point I just have to say, I know there's 80 kids and there's one Wendy that brings always fruit, but it's really my lunch. So I'm sorry, I cannot give you all the strawberries. I need to eat too. You know, and I would tell all the parents, please give your kids some fruit because they're always taking mine. But when we
because a lot of times they consider fruit to just be a little snack, but not your real food. And so they say, oh, don't eat too much of that because you fill up and you won't be able to eat. Well, eat what? Stuff that's not good.
But I was like that, so I understand. I mean, when we saw that video that Keon talked about earlier with the eye of Dr. Morse, when he was saying, see this lady with cancer, here's the cancer on the x-ray. 50 days later, look, she ate only grapes. Look at it, it's shrinking. I was going, okay, that's enough for me. Today I'm eating grapes. For me, it was like, click, okay. Apparently she got better instead of worse. So I don't like what everybody else says. I'm going to give it a try. I tried the rest. It didn't work. I'm still not dying. So it will probably be not that bad.
I also did it like overnight.
Yeah.
Like when I was vegan, I was still eating a lot of processed food. The night before I went fully raw, I had an entire loaf of almond butter and jelly sandwiches. And then I went raw the next day. I went raw vegan, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and sprouts. And I was sick that whole week because, of course, I was detoxing from eating an entire loaf of almond butter and jelly sandwiches. But once I was done, I was done. That was it. And I didn't miss it. I never went back. 27 years later, I don't miss it. I love the food I eat. I eat in abundance. I eat lots of variety. I'm never bored. My meals are different every single day. And I have watched over 27 years, I have watched people healing from cancer, all different kinds of cancer, all different kinds of autoimmune conditions, losing weight, raising healthy kids, autism, turning around autism. I have seen, so it's a no-brainer.
How about gaining weight?
Gaining weight, yes, I have worked with some people who want to gain weight.
Well, because it was like I gain weight and I get a lot of clients that want to gain weight. That's interesting. Not saying we're all succeeding, but you know, like going from malnutrition to nutrition is helping you heal your body, even if you're too little or too big. So yeah, but it's really awesome to hear your list of people that healed like that.
I lost a lot of weight when I went raw vegan. And I think it was a lot of false weight that was coming off me naturally. So I lost like more than 15 pounds. And normal for me is about 114, 115 pounds. I feel good. But I went under 100 pounds. And that was very, very thin. And I was not, you know, I was feeling good because I was eating fruit and getting calories from fruit. But I was concerned. And, you know, even my father, who had been my inspiration, he was even telling me to go back and eat some cooked food. But I didn't do it because the raw food was calling me.
Yeah,
and I stayed with it. And the more that I ate, I had to eat more food. I wasn't eating enough food. And I think part of it was a detoxification. I think my body needed to lose that weight in order to put on beneficial weight.
I understand. I felt at some points in my journey like that as well. Hey, my Instagram says we have 40 seconds left on our call. So it's maybe 40 seconds to tell the people that if you're really getting inspired and you want to try this abundance of raw food recipes and learn all there is to know about eating more healthy and taking better care of yourself and really giving yourself that what you need, that you can find it in the raw vegan bundle. We are selling these 54 books for $50. So that's less than $1 or €1 each, which is a super amazing thing that you can only do in this week. And you want to see your live video, Karen?